What's going on, guys? This episode is brought to you by True Classics, and this t-shirt is probably one of the softest t-shirts I've ever worn, and it fits absolutely perfect. A little bit snug on the shoulders, a little bit snug on the chest, loose through the waist. So if you're in the off season and you're not in the best shape, it's going to make you look even better. I'm going to show you guys what I mean. Check this out. So I'm going to show you what it does for your physique. So this guy is wearing a normal shirt on the left and is wearing a True Classics shirt on the right. You can see it kind of just looks like sloppy, hanging low, just kind of looks like a bag, whereas the True Classics shirt fits tight where it needs to fit tight and fits loose where it needs to fit loose. I'm going to show you guys the website so you guys know what else they have. This is the True Classics website. If you go to trueclassics.com/discount/RBP, you can get 20% off using my code. And I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff they have. If you go to shop all, they have t-shirts, they have polos, they have long sleeves, they have v-necks, long sleeve buttons, raglans. They have just about everything. They got some jackets here, they got pants, and I'm telling you guys, the quality of the material is absolutely incredible. They got some shorts here, different pants. They really have everything. They got, and they're honestly, their boxers are incredible. So guys, get to trueclassics.com/discount/RBP and save yourself 20% on your order. Make sure you check it out. It's going to make you look good when you're out with the wife.
My fucking protein turned to water.
What is that?
What are you drinking?
It's the waves turned it mushy.
It's baby rice, but because there's hydrolyzed in there, you know when it
that's the
rehydrates and then it goes it goes like water. Sometimes it
worst.
pays just to have actually an isolate and not a hydrolyzed.
Yes.
So that's our entrance point, talking about hydrolyzed whey.
We have 340 questions today, and I thought,
Well,
I don't feel like thinking. Let's just knock out some questions.
I think that's a good shout.
Well, I think we should cover the Olympia top 10 first.
No, I did that on the last podcast.
I'm joking.
Okay.
So to say, fuck.
First of all, it's
I feel like everyone at the minute is doing Olympia predictions, and it's exhausting.
You know how bad it is doing those predictions. I think Jose had. Hey, can you stop playing with that, please? Just play with a different one.
So what did Jose have?
Jose had Brandon in like 8th place, and I'm like, you
yeah, and then you know you're just gonna cause some shit.
I'm like, you took the former Mr. Olympia, the guy who took 2nd place last year. You put him in 8th. He's like,
I did say this. Imagine this year. Imagine they just went for a totally revamp, like just because they could. Like, you can't argue in bodybuilding because it is what it is. Like, imagine they just don't go for anyone who's huge and they go for like a really streamlined, beautiful physique this year.
Never.
They just do it. No, but if they just did it, like, what can you say? Like, because they go, well, the reason he won is this, and then you're like, oh,
you can't. Okay. You're right. You can't say anything. They can say anything they want. You just have to agree with it.
And James is right, because if they did that, then 2nd, 3rd, 4th would have to follow suit and have a different look to them also.
Yeah. I don't agree with that. They don't have to.
They wouldn't have.
Think about last year. You think about last year. You have Rami, who's a mass monster, and then you have Brandon, who's all about shape.
Yeah, but Rami was like last year. Rami was like quite a refined Rami, which I think is why
he's still a mass monster, though. Come on,
he is, but it wasn't
he does
like
have
2014 Rami.
Yeah,
you know.
But I just think they're all very different. Like if you look at 3, 4, 5, they're the same, right? Like Hadi, Hunter, Nick all have a similar. You know, even Bonac you could put in that same.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this morning, Hunter was 286.
It's heavy, man. He's heavier than
I think Hunter, I have in my predictions, I think I have Hunter. Where did I put them? Oh, here. I have Hunter in 2nd.
I think Hunter's top 3 this year for sure. Like, I think he's the most balanced. Out of all the guys that we can consider being up there, if you look at balance and mass, like those 2 factors alone, because condition will come like when it's ready. I don't know that yet. But if you look at who's coming in with a nice proportion of muscle all over the body distributed well, the person in the best point right now is Hunter.
I think with the added muscle he's put on, especially on his back.
Yeah.
As long as he comes in shape, Ben. As long as he's in shape.
He's looking all right now. Like, his condition's looking pretty good.
As long as you
I'll
don't
say,
fuck it up, he'll be second.
I went down there Sunday night. I went down there for 24 hours just to get a quick look at him. You can't, like, I get it. In a video, in a picture, meh. Like, and he's, the proportions mean, the proportions, no, what I mean is, there's nothing outstanding. Like, he's so,
Everything's so
perfectly
even.
balanced.
like, he's so big. I mean, you saw back in
he's huge.
this summer, in
Yeah.
person, it doesn't try, like, the physique doesn't, he occupies so much fucking space, and no one
He's
realizes
wide.
it.
He's very,
until
like,
in the lineup.
he's like that all the time.
And I've not seen anything like it in person. And then when I saw it this year, on Monday, I was like,
It's
wow.
almost like the more balanced you are, the more deceiving you are in photos.
Yeah, because nothing's like jumping at you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make things, everything looks so proportionate that you don't think anything's absurdly big.
Yeah. You
But
don't really,
when all of it is absurdly big, you're like, oh,
it really did
But
shock. It really
you are
did
right,
shock
it's
me
competition.
when I went down. When I went down to Houston with you, and you guys were all training, him and Nick and whatever.
Yeah.
I did not realize how big Hunter was. He's a fucking
let me
big
put it
dude,
this way. When you saw him, he was 274. Now he's 286.
and he's leaner.
And leaner, yeah.
Yeah.
he has.
Like as soon as we started messing around with some of the fun compact, like his body's just gone. I'm like,
He has an
huh?
incredible top to bottom balance as well, which I think other people lack. I don't think anyone else that I've named really has the symmetry from top to bottom that he has.
I agree with that.
That's why I think that he could. I'm not saying he couldn't even win, but
I mean-
I have him in the top 3 for sure because I think he's got what it takes.
It's a question. It's a question now of condition and water balance.
Yeah.
That's the
If Hunter had like even, I don't want to say Hottie's condition, because Hottie's like condition
It's
is,
absurd.
is
His condition is like
yeah,
top
yeah.
1%.
But even if he, if he had something close to that, or even like Derek Lunsford has a really clean condition. If he had that, then he could be very dangerous. I would even see him stand next to fucking Rami, because if you think about it, some people had Hottie beating Rami last year, so it's not like he's unbeatable.
No, Rami's fantastic, and
Yeah.
but no one at current is a prime Phil Heath or prime Ronnie Coleman.
What do you mean by that?
As in, when Phil Heath was in 2011 to 13, like, it doesn't matter who turned up.
Oh, you mean unbeatable? Yeah, there's nobody like that. Yeah.
And a Coleman 98, 99, 2003. Like,
I will say though, James, the most recent updates of Rami at 326
looks
or whatever
really
the fuck it
good.
is,
Looks really
looks
good.
like he's entering that untouchable category.
Good. And it comes at some
Yeah.
point. Like, there's a stage for people when if they do get it. Yeah, it doesn't come overnight. Like, Ronnie wasn't untouchable until he was untouchable.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Oh yeah, I mean, shit. You look at Ronnie's rundown
95.
leading into his leading into his win. They weren't that impressive, and then all of a sudden he turned it on and
Kaboom.
touched him.
Chad seems to do best with the bigger guys.
Yeah.
For some reason, the larger the guy is, the better Chad does with them when he's working with
I think
them.
that's what I've realized about coaches. I think coaches have it's like an Andrew Vu. I noticed is really good with smaller guys. I'm not saying he's not good with big guys, but from when I used to see his like track record, it was always like the John Dewitt's, like it was like the guys that were coming in a bit lighter that he was really good with. And then, like you say, you got like the Chads who got these super heavy bodybuilders looking fucking mint.
I wonder if you
I'll
could
say
say
this
that about. Go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
I was going to say, I wonder if it's because Chad isn't afraid to feed them.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
He's
For
just
sure.
gonna like get that fucking down.
He doesn't dabble. He fucking feeds the cunts.
Trust
He's
me,
either doing it or not doing it.
That's where I fucking developed my
eating
retardation.
habits. Your portion sizes came from
Well,
Chad.
no, because that's what the first major guru I worked with, or coach or whatever I'll call him, was Chad, and I think I picked up a lot of those habits and ran with them
Yeah,
for a long time. But
for sure, especially if they work.
I think as well that only works. Not only works. I think it lends itself to the genetic propensity of that athlete as well. Like Ronnie could handle that volume of food.
Yeah,
Rami clearly again, he's in that category where he can handle that type of food.
Yeah.
And still get away with it. But
yeah, agreed.
I think it's like half and half, right? It's half the athlete needs to be genetically responsive to it, and then the coaches.
Yeah, you need to be able to tolerate these things for sure.
And that might be the word and that might be the problem with me is my body wasn't meant to be like that, and that's probably why my stomach got blown out, because I wasn't
even Coleman, who Even
Maybe-
Coleman
well,
to get to where he
Yeah,
got
but the difference between Coleman is Coleman had the mass to handle a larger stomach.
everything. Yeah, like
I
say,
wasn't big enough to handle like my stomach getting wider, right? I actually looked better when my stomach was smaller and I was smaller.
I hear that.
So
hear
I think doing Chad's program, if that's what it was from, you know, that I think you're right. It depends on the athlete and who you can do that with. When you have somebody like Rami that's this fucking wide and he's got tons of mass, he can handle a little bit of
and
stomach.
if you look at honestly, if you look at their waistlines from their start point, like Ronnie and Rami had actually incredibly small waists, so you can afford to lose a bit.
Yep.
You know, same with like Flex working with Chad. Like Flex could afford to lose a bit of that waist because, you know, he had fucking.
So in saying that, then what would you say Aceto is? Aceto works with the more streamlined guys best.
I know one thing. I've worked with Aceto for a show, and I don't think the thing that always stands out to me with Aceto is how very good he is with landing the plane at the last part. I don't know much. He's not really an off-season guy, so I don't really know on that front.
Yeah.
But when I think of Aceto's biggest accomplishments, I know some people would say Jay, but I don't think Jay was ever in awesome shape, except for a few times. But until he worked with Hani, and I think he was 2001, he was pretty amazing. But like, I always think of more streamlined physiques when I think of
like super sliced Eduardo Correa.
Like people like that, or like didn't he work with Rafael Brandao?
Yeah, Troy Alves back in the day.
Like those kind of physiques is like the ones that come to mind most with Aceto.
I feel like he's just because I don't think he has super involvement in the off season, so I don't think they get huge. Because like
I've not seen him.
Remember, Luke kind of done his. Luke was just like, I'm going to kind of do this thing, and then Ceto's like,
he spoke to him like, it was like 2 or 3 weeks will go by. He'd send pictures, be like, cool, yeah.
He's happy. He's just happy with you to get big and chunky, and then he's very confident that he can get you in shape.
Yeah,
that's what I noticed.
When I worked with Aceto, he didn't do my training, didn't do my off season, and didn't do much of my drugs.
I love it. Just like we're painting this like picture of Aceto, but for what he does do.
No, but that's true.
Yeah, like, I know, but for anyone that's listening to this, and like, so what does he do then?
Well,
he's fantastic at what he does.
Yeah,
I watched Chris firsthand
transforming.
Peak Luke on several occasions and a couple of other guys.
Yeah,
and I'm observing, right, and I'm trying to I'm doing this. Okay, what's he doing? How's that looking? If you can't fucking figure out what he's doing,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
there's no rhyme or reason or this, but his eye and his experience, you can't replace that. I couldn't explain to you his methodology on some things I didn't agree with, and then they would pan out well. Other things I thought made sense and they didn't pan out, and then he would adjust, and I gave up trying to decipher his code.
Do you agree that he's very good at like taking an athlete who's like some of the bigger guys, because we're quite water attentive, you know, like you've been a big guy, you know, we can be a week out from a show during like the re-eating and getting a bit full for the show and actually look like we're like 5 weeks out.
Yeah.
And then what Aceto's really good at is like literally the next day he like shaves off a load. The next day he's like, a little bit more. He has this ability to balance the fluid.
He can
look.
Pull water out. He can pull water
without
out the guy real quick.
Because I notice even Luke, when I watch his videos still now, like at the Arnold, like you just like little things, just like shoulder tie-ins, like a few days out, and then they just get deeper, and deeper until it's absurd. And that's Aceto's trick. Magic of let's get the water out of the sub Q, leave you nice and full, and make you look fantastic. I feel like that's what he's really good at.
Actually, you know, that I think about it, I think Chad is the only one that has that thing where he's better with a certain type of athlete.
Yeah.
Because if I think of Hani, and
Hani's all over, isn't it? Because he works with every type of athlete.
like mostly
females, males, every category.
It just seems that Chad mostly, and I'm sure he's got small guys that look great too, but it just seems like the bigger guys do better with him.
Maybe Chad just enjoys working with monsters.
Yeah, it's probably true.
I'll say this: I much prefer working with guys with a lot of muscle tissue.
It's funner.
Yeah, but it comes with its own dangers too, no? Because then
it's not without its
because what I'm saying is like if you miss bad, right? Like if you miss
by 10 pounds.
Yeah, it's like
you can't run them. You can't afford to run them as flat. Like as soon as you start going flat, you've got to catch that. Yeah. When I was talking to someone last night about it, you have a guy that's 200 pounds. You can afford to be a little more aggressive with them.
That's right. Yeah.
If you're too aggressive with these big guys or you underfeed them, fuck that. And especially if we're talking about Olympia, every pound of muscle tissue matters.
Turn up with
every fucking pound. Yeah. So you don't want to be putting them too flat to chase. I mean, look, we're chasing condition with Hunter, but I cannot
lose the
them
mass
too flat for too long and have it fade away. Like it's a balance point.
Funny
because the other thing, this is what James experienced was if you run them in a little too early, or even not too early, on time, and then you start feeding them, and they have that amount of muscle tissue, and then so say you went a little too low, to get them into shape, you start feeding them. If you're not early enough with it, you're fucked because their body starts speeding up and it races, and you cannot feed these motherfuckers. Like, I'm not talking about have a high day of like 1,000 grams of
I mean, your diet has to change from that point forward.
Like, these guys need like 4 or 5 day resets to even get back to being
remember
point.
Remember Roman at the Tampa? Like, I think what's his coach's name again? Justin Compton was feeding
what's his coach's name again?
I slipped for a second.
Fucking hell. Give the guy some credit.
Well, Justin's a legend.
Okay, fuck you guys. I deserve that. But listen, honestly, remember the amount of shit he fed him?
He had to feed him a lot, didn't he?
For like 3 fucking days, he was feeding him like McDonald's and this and that and fucking nothing. Couldn't catch back up to it.
No, and I think that's what James noticed from probably. I mean, I don't want to speak on James if half he's right here. So, you add in like 1 or 2 high days, and all the weight drops even more. You're like,
well, look. Even Arnold, where I didn't come in as conditioned as I can for the sake of balancing those ratios of fullness, and even after that, I had to add an extra meal a day just to sustain weight.
Yeah.
Activity is exactly the same. So I went from 5 meals a day to 6 standardly, and I was still dropping for the next,
Sorry, Ben. You were eating 5 meals a day for your prep?
Yeah, 5 and an intra.
I never did that. I
did it because I wanted to like have more time between.
I know, and I always did that in the off season. But when I was dieting, I always needed that 6th meal.
Yeah, now I do. Now I'm on 6, and I need it because I'm hungry right to the minute I go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's different. What was the highest your cardio? I don't watch anyone.
Oh, I didn't. I had no like actual cardio as such. I just did. I go for a walk in the morning. That probably takes me like 20 minutes, and then I walk around the block like maybe 4, like at peak maybe 3 to 4 times a day, and my block's probably about 800 meters. So I weren't moving a lot.
Yeah.
Well, plus rollerblading or inline skating,
plus a little bit of the old.
So it's more like neat output.
Yeah, and like I don't need super. The funny, I realized that I don't need super high NEAT as long as my food's not ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, 1 sec.
That's all right.
Did you? I'm not going to get into the compound discussion. It's too specific.
Oh no, I don't mind. Honestly, I don't mind.
Did you go down? Did you even bother going down the T3 T4 route?
Yeah, a very low amount, like literally 25 T350 T4.
Yeah, just a
very standard, just for nutrient turnover. You need to, for the amount of food
as well.
Yeah, and obviously if you're using GH as well. So I didn't go crazy on that too.
All right, let's do some questions. I want to do some questions.
Let's do it.
I feel like we should give back to the community.
It's community day.
We just gave him a shitload. I just asked James about his prep.
Which is your favorite physique look in each of the men's categories?
Classic. I like that guy. What guy is it? There's a British guy, a black fella called shit. Oh,
that doesn't narrow it down.
No, it doesn't at all, does it? There's a British guy that's black.
I'll jump.
I'll think of the name, but anyway, let's hear what you boys got to say.
I only because I saw him in person at the Arnold. That Dino.
Oh, the Brazilian guy.
On stage.
Oh, the guy. He's very good. He's got nice physique.
On stage, I couldn't take my eyes off him on stage. I was like, "Fuck me, he's phenomenal." I just like it. Just appeals to my eye. I liked how he looked. I also,
I'm not being rude. I'm looking at my Insta to find this guy just so I can see.
Ramon.
I also think he could. I think he could outgrow Classic very easily and hold an open class physique if he wanted to with his structure. But
yeah, he's got a pretty amazing physique, man.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, and I know this guy's not Olympia yet, like top Olympia, but I like his proportions. He's called the Black Panther. He's British. It's quite chunky and short. The dot black underscore panther. Yeah.
I'm just checking for tabs he's got open just to make
I
sure.
like his shape.
Safe.
That's him at the top.
What,
I like these kind of shapes.
We're good.
Oh
yes, I did see him. I saw this picture.
He reminds me of like Keon, but in classic.
wow, he looks great.
Yeah, love that
Yeah, I
shape.
saw this.
Great shape.
Look at this fucking waist.
I know. I think he's phenomenal. If I could choose what I look like, then I would obviously say, yeah, let me look like that.
Has he started compete? Like, what level is he at? Like, what has he done? Has he done a pro
I think
show?
he's won a couple of shows.
He's doing the Texas show in was it November 5th?
Ben, didn't he win a couple of a show or two in his first year as a pro? Yeah, Olympia in 2019. Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He's got great.
Yeah, he competes in Texas next.
Wow,
November
the
5th.
back. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Look at this.
I don't know him personally, but I think I might have, because he's British, I must have come across him. But I really am he now knows because of the podcast. So I'm definitely a fan of him.
So the only thing that stands out to me is he could use a little bit more hamstring, but it almost looks like he's flexing it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he relaxes, he'll probably hang like
If he lets
foot.
if he lets it drop, it might be better. Yeah. Because
Look
from
at
the
that.
back, it looks great.
But
His
does he
arm
not?
looks
Does he remind
enormous in
you
that
like
side chest.
his proportions are quite Keon-esque?
Yeah, I can see that.
And I'm obviously a fan.
I
of
tell
Keon.
you, he'll look wacky once he's got glaze on him, because he's got that skin tone that's a bit dry, like dry
It's
and
like
matte looking.
Patrick at the Arnold.
Yeah, it's kind of like a matte, like he's this texture of his skin.
Oh, he's done the
looking.
Olympia.
Yeah,
Oh,
2019.
he smokes this physique. That's not a good.
Yeah, he's come a long way since then. Let's bear in mind that's a couple of years. Look at that side tricep, like the size. You mad?
Where this one?
Yeah, I was looking at like the size of the arm. Like it's just like, I know he's not stage ready yet, but still nuts.
But that's why I said that side chest shot. His arm was enormous.
Yeah,
I swear, honestly, I think my favorite physiques are large limb, small torso.
yeah, like Lee Priest.
It always looks better. Always.
Yeah,
Think about it. Like, think about large.
I think of Lee Priest.
I think of fucking Luke. I mean,
Yeah,
he had a
he
he had a massive
had a big
back,
torso, but he kind of had it
but from the
on
front.
the big. No, I hear
His
you.
arms were just.
Yeah,
You know, I think of
like they're stuck on.
I think of fucking Dexter. I think of Rolly. I think of like some of these physiques. They just get away when you have bigger arms, bigger legs. Like
It's really funny because when I first started bodybuilding and I saw Dexter do most muscular, I was adamant he had a really bad chest because I wasn't used to those proportions.
Yeah.
Sounds weird. And then the more obviously I've been in bodybuilding, you realize that's fantastic. I was so disillusioned by the arm to chest
shoulders and
ratio.
arms. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, his chest is really underdeveloped, and it's not.
Kevin was a little like that, right?
Yeah. Kevin Lerone's like that too. Yeah.
Like he's just
Especially
and Phil like
and Phil.
the
And Phil.
shoulder on that most.
There's
Especially
a few boys
when,
that are great.
Especially when Kevin was younger, because when Kevin was in the earlier 90s.
Before the pec test.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I mean his legs, because his legs started to get kind of smaller into the 2000s. But when he was in like the, mid 90s, his fucking legs were thick. And his arms
94
were thick.
to 97. Boom.
Maybe, you always look at what you don't have.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a torso bodybuilder.
I'm like you. I'm a torso guy.
Yeah. So I always look at guys with big limbs and I'm like so fucking jealous.
Yeah. You hate what you hate those. You always, when someone's got what you haven't, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was always the same. Like Ben probably felt the same. When you trained with Luke, it's like, you just wouldn't stop looking at his tricep hanging off the back of his arm. You're a fucking arsehole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he trained triceps like really like calm. And you're like, bro.
That was always the muscle I was most jealous of anybody having.
Yeah. Same.
Because I'm
when
like,
they do that, and it's just like,
because I knew my arms weren't great. And I'm like, if I just had bigger triceps, my arms would be
it
great.
makes the whole silhouette look better. Such annoyance. I know.
It's annoying for me. I didn't have good arms at all, but the only part of my arm that I did have was the long head. And I'm like, I don't need that. I'm like, for bodybuilding, it's not really.
But that's the best part.
No, he's got
you need the short.
Yeah,
that bit in there was long. Yeah. I don't give a shit about that. It's like from the front, it's all that short head.
No, but that's the best part because I had this part. I didn't have this part. So when I did my front double, I didn't have that low hanging.
Yeah, okay. One pose, and then the short head is
for everything
both
else.
Side shots, like the rear shots, like fucking everything.
No, but no, that's not true. The long head. Watch the long head.
The rear double. The rear double.
Listen, the long head is what gives you the extra illusion of thickness.
Okay, so we're arguing about what part of triceps is most valuable now. Okay.
We're arguing because he had something I didn't have, and I had something he didn't
Yeah.
have. So we're like,
Oh,
no,
I had nothing. I had nothing.
I was
nothing that you
always
didn't
jealous.
have.
I was always jealous of people with this bit that just sticks out like that.
Yeah.
Like the side, I'm like, what?
I agree.
Ronnie's was retarded. Ronnie's was just.
I just like the here. Let's see.
It's the Lerone, and he's like that, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys on that for sure. But when I look at the Ronnie Coleman front double, I'm like,
yeah, he had a nice bit of underhang.
look at this fucking like sweep underneath. It's just so thick there, right? And it's
Yeah,
like, I know it's all bicep peak too, but like,
look at that physique's mad.
look at
the size of it there. That 2003 huge, overly big.
this one.
I know. Yeah, like just the head sinking into the body. Like there's no, it's quicksand.
But I think that's also the way that Ronnie does this pose. He lifts his shoulders at the same time as doing the spread. You know what I mean?
His legs. The bad thing is he's got his legs deadlocked, and they're still massive.
Right?
Like who else can stand with their legs dead straight like that and look like retardedly big?
I always find
his knees.
I always find it funny that Ronnie's not ever included in the largest quads conversation.
Even 06, the year that he'd lost, though that year he was 300 pounds pretty much, and it was all quad. Like
this is got to be up there with the best quads ever.
Yeah.
Who said he's not in the quad discussion?
That's not. I'm not saying it is sick.
Is this photoshopped?
Yeah. But it's amazing. If he did that, that is an amazing picture. But that's the type of picture they would put. I think that's
more legit.
Yeah.
No, it's not that nobody says he has big quads. I just say when people think, okay, name your top 5 best quads in bodybuilding. Ronnie's never first, or second, or third. They usually go Tom Platz, Paul DeMeo, Ben Pakulski. Like that, you don't ever.
Brant Warren. Was Tom Platz actually, or is it just on his physique? You know,
they were mad, bro.
No, I think
no. I know, but
you're gonna get in trouble here, Ben.
Like, would they compare?
No, because I'm a Tom. Look, fuck me. If anyone's a Tom Platz fan, I'm
interested to see
right here. But I'm saying proportionally for his height, stature, weight. I think Ronnie's quads, the actual mass of tissue,
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that Tom Platz's quads in his prime were like 35-inch.
Let's find out.
They must have been like,
look at this shot. Look at this. But I do see what Ben's saying. If you put this quad on Ronnie's physique.
Yeah. Could we find out what measurement they were? Do you reckon if we type in what site, how big was? Because I really am interested. Love if there's a picture of him with a duct tape around him.
5'8",
31.
31 inches. That's not that big.
Just shows, doesn't it?
It's more detailed.
And the internet isn't wholly accurate, though.
Yeah, true. Me and you are relying totally on Wiki now.
I know, we're like 31.
We're like, Wiki said 31.
Look, I want to show you something funny, just to show how shitty the internet is.
Go on. Net worth, I bet it's like 10 million.
Look at this.
What's this?
36
million at the age of 40. Love it.
I wish that thing was right.
That'd be so good.
I know, right? Just to prove to everybody how shit the internet is sometimes.
I'm back.
Okay. What happened, Ben? Did you disappear?
No. Well, I got sent this.
I can't see it. Oh, from Hunter?
Yeah.
And it broke my internet.
I didn't say my favorites. I'm going to say I love Chris Bumstead's physique, obviously, so I'm just going to go with the logical answer. But bodybuilding wise, that's tough.
It's really hard, isn't it?
Who's my favorite current bodybuilding look? Ben, who's your favorite current bodybuilding look? Or James, what do you guys think? James is a little harder for you because you're actually competing.
In all bodybuilding?
And I quite like that James Hollingshead guy.
You know what, James? Not to, but I'm going to do it since
I don't want to fanboy, but I'm about to fanboy.
Last time Ian was on, I gave him a bunch of ball licks, so I'm going to do the same for James.
All right.
James, you know the Monster Factory, like
clothing
images, and the artwork that they use.
Yeah.
Your back double in Italy on stage reminded me a lot of like when they do the monster and he's got that. It's just very sinewy and gnarly and it's like all these lines are converging into one. Like this, do you know what I mean?
I'm not even gonna not accept that. I'm gonna be about me today. Yes, Ben. Yes.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
No, I agree. There's a lot of detail
like,
within the detail.
There was a lot of like lines and illustrations just all converging into one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Like that's James's physique reminds me of like these kind of caricatures.
I would love to. I just wish that I had that same sort of detail on the front half. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Can't be blessed all over.
So is James your favorite open bodybuilder?
No. But he's just saying a shot.
James is my favorite open bodybuilder on this podcast right now. Yes.
That's a victory in itself.
So I'm retired. So you got that's on you, bro.
Fuck yeah, shit. That was an easy win.
I honestly can't say who I'm trying to think of my favorite. I mean,
it's because there's attributes, isn't there? There's attributes of people you like.
Well, listen, I love Samson's physique.
Yeah,
and I'm not just saying that because we signed him. I really do love Samson's physique.
Yeah, and I do as well.
That's mine.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw it into work. Like I have to have a certain. I'm going to do the whole race thing again because I always do it on this podcast. I have to have a favorite physique in each category of what nationality.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay,
I feel
so
like
your
I can't
favorite.
compare.
Okay, who's your favorite? Who's your favorite black guy?
Samson.
Okay, who's your favorite white guy?
Me.
Okay, who's your favorite Asian?
Yellow.
Ben. I'm trying to think. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. But it sounds really weird because I have this weird thing in bodybuilding where I just can't. I like physiques within their categories.
You separate them all by race.
Yeah, by race. It's terrible, isn't it? But it's not terrible. It's just how I do it because I don't expect them.
But you know what?
Same.
There isn't any great. And forgive me if I'm fucking missing somebody. I can't think of a great Asian bodybuilder right now because it was Hide.
Yeah,
would be the first one name that came to mind.
There's some good 212s. It's just we haven't got.
I love On's shape, but he never finishes it.
On's got some great structure.
That's what I mean. I guess Chol Soon, or no, not Chol Soon. What's the guy?
Yeah, he's got a wicked upper body.
Yeah,
Chow Sun.
So now we're getting into my kind of conversation. Who's your favorite from there?
Well, you can
Who's
even
your favorite
go further,
Middle Eastern bodybuilder?
Big Ramy.
Oh, this is where you create real beef because you got Rami and you got Huddy, yeah. And if you say any of them, I'm gonna get fucking threats. So I'm not saying any. I like them both.
You can break it down into poses because front lat spread. I almost have Jamie Johau up there as like one.
Mate, he's got one of the best lat spreads in the game.
It's insane when you see
Okay, can we go?
Front lat spread. The Asher and Jamie are my favorite front lat spread in the game.
You guys are totally evading the question. Who is your favorite open class bodybuilder?
We have to weigh it all up now. This is terrible. This is hard.
But we both got skin in the game. James is in the open, and
but that gives him even more reason to not pick himself because he can be like, I can pick whoever I want.
Okay, so James can't pick himself, and I can't pick Hunter, and then we can go from there.
You can pick Hunter if it's actually your favorite physique.
I think I would go Hunter from a standpoint of what I said earlier. I'll stand behind like what I said.
He's the best white guy?
Well,
oh, you mean about balance? Sorry.
Well, he's technically the best white guy as well because he got fourth, didn't he? And there was no other white guys above him.
That's right.
That's true.
So he's got that car. He's got that. He should have a trophy indoors, does it?
How does it? I wonder how do white
feels to be the best white guy.
How do white and black guys feel if the Middle Eastern guys are two of the top four?
I don't think people mind because they're like, he's not like me. He's different. It's fine.
I think because the brown guys are in the middle, that they're okay.
Like I got beat at the Arnold by two really good black guys, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm still the best white guy.
Small win. James
so
win everywhere.
That's why I was like, right. I was like, yeah, sweet.
James got a fucking silver lining in everywhere.
Exactly. That's why I did. I kind of walked away from it. I was like,
I had the best beard on stage.
I'm the best white guy. The best white guy. Man, when I was competing, I was like the only Arab. It was before the Middle Eastern wave.
You were always the best Arab.
I was the best Arab on stage.
You always had that. It doesn't matter where you placed. See, you could have just gone. You've done well, son. You've done well.
I seriously can't pick. Seriously can't pick my favorite physique.
I honestly struggle as well, and I don't think I have anything concrete because I do like some of the guys that we haven't mentioned. Like I like Mo Shaban. I know Regan's not doing it, but I like things about Regan's physique. Like, there's too many things I like.
I just can't think of the last time somebody stepped on stage and I was like, "Whoa!" Like the last time. Sorry, Ben. The last time I did that was Tonio Burton. When I saw Tonio come out at the Legion, I was like, "What the fuck?" But I don't know if that was
very good.
But I don't know if that was just because it was such a good combination of condition, fullness, shape. Like he had everything, right?
Yeah, but
it was because he doesn't have that much width on him. Yeah. There's structural flaws.
Cannibal, like he's put muscle underneath.
For his physique and his structure, he was nailed down
And
every
full.
which way. Like
His
every
peak-
which
his
way.
peak was perfect.
Okay, answer me this.
Yeah.
Do we have a Kevin Levrone type character that everyone's like, wow?
Not
when he comes
currently. Not currently.
No, right? We don't have somebody
I
that
don't think
like
so.
I'd say who I used to every single time was Roden. When he was
Roden was very impressive.
2000,
My tongue's
15.
up Justin Compton's ass because I always like Justin.
Justin Compton was also very, very
I love
impressive.
Justin.
Those are the kind of like, listen, I'm serious. So maybe it's because we're of the, well, not me, but you guys are of that age. I don't know. But like when I think of Justin Compton, Dennis Wolf, like you look and you go, whoa, like Dennis Wolf's proportions, like his quads, his shoulder width.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, what the fuck?
His front lat spread. I mean,
I think also because the new crop haven't stood next to him, so now we will never be able to have that true identification of where do we stand. Like, how would Prime Nick be next to Prime Wolf? Like, I know they're very different, but he could have like,
I think Wolf beats him.
Maybe, but then maybe it could have looked like.
I mean, Nick beats him. See, Nick beats him on condition, but Wolf beats him on shape.
But then if you look at like Nick's lower body from the back, the thick hams and stuff.
A Prime Wolf was.
It's hard, man. It's hard. Honestly, this is what I'm saying. Because we don't have that.
And you've got to look at who was beating like Wolf back then as well, right?
Yeah, he's top 5 sometimes, wasn't he?
It's not. I don't want to take away from Ramy, but he's not Phil Heath. He's not the Ronnie dominant.
But this is what I'm saying. That's why it's hard to say, man.
Okay, let's see. This is 2007, Dennis Wolf. That probably wasn't
Keystone Classic, isn't it? No, New York Pro. That's a nice Wolf. That's 2007.
So the thing about Wolf is he's always amazing from the front, whereas Nick is amazing from the back.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say how do they stack up?
Yeah.
You know?
And Nick's condition was probably better than Wolf's too.
And side on Nick's crazy as well.
I think side on Dennis is good too, though. Like he's very
Flex
fit.
Pro. That's the one Evan won.
Look at this. Look at this, Dennis Wolf.
Jesus,
that's good. That's like straight off the Milos's.
Why are all these fucking photos so grainy? See, when I look at that, I think Nick can beat that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's a Wolf 2015 onwards when he started to lose a bit of the arm fullness.
You know, but he had a lot of battles with Roden that were very close. He beat him a couple times. Like
beat him at the Arnold, didn't he? Pipped him at the Arnold for that first place.
It's tough.
14.
It's tough to say.
I think what it was with Wolf, like round 7 and 8, he had like really, his limbs were very full. And then once he got to like 14, 15,
things started to change a bit.
Yeah.
Is that Photoshop? Is that Photoshop or no?
You're damn right that is. You're damn right that is. Lad.
Yeah, that's Photoshop. Look
that Wolf would have won the Olympia.
Yeah, that's the
real thing.
More.
Yeah, quad sweep's crazy.
Yeah, he always had incredible quads.
But I will say this: like, I like the look. I would love to just do a straight.
Look at that rear double.
Where?
Look at rear double in the garden.
Wolf and Justin Compton. Wolf and Compton for me should have. I wish they were on stage more in their primes and compared.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this Dennis Wolf is crazy.
That's dry. I think because he started to get this like more mature condition in the later half of his career.
Well, I think when he stopped, at some point he stopped using coaches and he started doing his own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Does Nick beat Cutler?
Nick's very reminiscent of Cutler in some shots, isn't he?
Yes.
I'd say Nick has more condition. Has a more conditioned physique,
especially lower body. But Cutler's quad is like
it's a drier. Yeah,
I would say that Nick has a better condition, but Cutler has a better shape from the front.
But Cutler did say, he said on the circles the other day, Fouad, he said he did opt to be bigger.
Yeah.
Over condition, because he said his physique in particular, because he was actually talking to me about what I did at the last show, and he said that he thinks it's a good shout because he used to do the same. He could come in harder, but it would cost him roundness.
Yeah,
This is the game, right? This is the game, the look.
And that came from Jay's mouth. That came straight out of Jay's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before. We've talked about this. We talked about this many times, and that's what I think is the nuance that people aren't understanding when they're watching like, why can't he just get shredded? I'm like, wait a minute. He can get shredded, but at the expense of maybe flatter shoulders, maybe a flatter chest, maybe a quad sweep that's not so round. Yeah, all those
that's why I'd be interested to see what Samson does this year, because we don't know. He might be able to pull off a combination of the two, because we just don't know. But you can't have a go at him if he doesn't come in super diced, because What he is going to bring if he doesn't is going to be probably the most aesthetic, big, round body on that stage.
See, this is the common question with Andrew Jack we keep talking about is, does that fullness in the shoulders, chest, abs, all that really poppy muscle look the same when the backside is shredded? So we don't, we still haven't figured out who's the favorite bodybuilder of each guy.
I don't know.
If you had to, okay, you got 5 seconds. 5, 4.
Wait. 3, currently competing right now.
Yes. 3, 2, 1. James.
Alfred, my friend Alfred. I'm gonna say Alfred's
You're
my favorite.
a fucking liar.
No, Alfred's fucking come on. He got second.
Alfred is great. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not laughing because I don't think he's good.
I'm not saying no. Listen, you said favorite. You're not saying the best.
No, I don't mean personality favorite. I mean favorite.
No, favorite
physique. Okay, you can take a pill and have their physique tomorrow.
Yeah, Alfred's got everything. Yeah, if he had a bit more leg.
But you just said 2 different things. You said he has everything, and then he said he had a bit more leg.
He likes him because he beat him. That's why.
No. I think Alfred is actually exceptional, and I think if his legs come up as much as they have again to balance with that top half, I can't see why people will beat him at shows. He's ridiculous.
I don't disagree with anything you just said. The problem with that is,
fuck you, Fouad.
I'm not trying to disagree with you. The only thing I'm worried about with
you worried about, bro? Why are you worried?
I'm not worried. I still sleep at night. No, the only thing I would think about is when somebody has to bring up the legs that much, they have to put on more size. And if you put on more size, then does the entire line change?
Who knows?
Is he still going to have that beautiful physique if he's trying to build?
All right. I'm going to start.
Okay.
Regan.
Regan's your favorite bodybuilder. Okay.
Regan. Yes. If I could take a pill and have someone's physique, Regan.
I see, Ben. No, honestly, I said earlier, Regan's got like a nice clavicle width, round muscle belly,
combination,
long insertion,
and I've never had a back. I've never had a back ever. I try so hard to grow a back, and his back.
That goes back to the conversation we had earlier. You always want what you didn't.
You haven't got.
Yeah.
Regan's got the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regan, James. This was so much easier 5 years ago.
I know.
I could say Dexter. I could say fucking there's so many it feels different now. And
it's because no one's solidified their position yet because it's all new.
But kind of have Ian, you know what to expect from Ian, right? Ian is, where he's going to be, what he's going to look like, what size he's bringing.
And to many, he is their favorite.
That's right.
He's a favorite to many.
I think I don't know if we is that true because I don't think it is because.
I'm not saying
I'm not saying seen from Ian. I think what we're about to see from Ian is going to leave us all with our foot in our mouths.
No. But I'm not saying we've seen Ian's best.
He's been consistently.
You consistently know what the look is going to be when you see Ian, right? He's just a little bit bigger every time, but you know what you're getting when he gets on stage.
He's consistent, for sure.
Oh, who do we have? Go through Rami, Hottie, Brandon. Nick.
It's because we haven't got Branch Warren anymore. It's
well, we do have Branch Warren. We have Martin Fitzwater. He's but Branch Warren 2.0.
He will be. He's young.
No, I don't know. He doesn't have that grainy. I like Martin's physique.
I'm joking. It's just because
but Branch has that grainy.
I would love to have that.
No.
I hope that comes with time.
I'm just fucking around. If we had to actually pick a Branch Warren 2.0, I've already said James reminds me the most of Branch Warren.
I just need to get that gnarly front detail that he has. Really gnarly.
He was definitely
really gnarly from the front.
Branch definitely didn't do those cheat refeeds.
Branch was cheating every 3 days.
He was a little bit more hardcore than me.
Dude, even to this day, I think he was here. I forget what we were doing, but he was here and we went to get breakfast or something like that.
He still ate fucking beef patty.
He had steak and eggs and hash browns.
Orange juice.
Yeah, something like that. No fucking toast. So, it was I'm you still eat like a fucking bodybuilder here? I'm sitting there with a fucking.
Yeah, motherfucker, of course I do.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah.
I don't blame him.
I honestly can't pick anybody. I think
it's got for me. If it wasn't Regan, the next one would be Samson because when Samson was at the Arnold, and he does that when he's just stood there, almost relaxed. Pose, it's almost Flex Wheeler-esque, but a bigger version of it. And when I saw Samson guest pose, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
He was very,
Samson
very
could easily be my favorite black physique, definitely. No, honestly, he could be my favorite bodybuilder, actually, to be fair, shape-wise. It's not even, that's not beyond, I'm joking when I say the whole thingy.
We just spent an hour on one question. Okay.
I know, but it's because it's not easy these days.
I'm
the only one that gave an answer, you fucking cheap fucks.
I said Samson.
I said Alfred.
Okay, all right.
Is the Kool-Aid is the Kool-Aid man's face on the glass? On the glass? Wait.
On the outside of the glass or the inside?
Is the Kool-Aid man's face on the glass or liquid?
It moves, doesn't it? So it might be on the liquid. I don't know. I'd have to watch the Kool-Aid guy now. Last time I saw the Kool-Aid guy was in Family Guy. It's American, isn't it, Kool-Aid?
Yeah, as I say, we don't have it.
Yeah, it's not in England, but I've seen it obviously on programs.
I still don't. I've never drunk it. I don't.
What is Kool-Aid? What flavor is Kool-Aid? Is there different flavors?
All different flavors.
Is it sugar-free or not?
You can get sugar-free, yeah. That's right.
Is it like Crystal Light?
Yeah, it's better.
James, you know what they need to...
Go on, Ben.
They need to import Ribena,
the real one, the full
concentrate.
Yeah. So juicy.
It's on the glass, dude. Oh no, wait. It's moving.
No, it's on the glass. Yeah, it's moving, but it's on the...
It's on the glass. You can see the 3D print on it. It's on the glass.
Just because it's moving doesn't mean it's on. It's clearly a fucking...
It's on the glass.
Cartoon.
No, I don't mean...
The modern one's on the glass. Maybe the old school one.
It's moving, therefore it's definitely...
No, you retard. I'm not saying how did they make it. I'm saying how did they intend it to be?
I think it's on the glass.
You think they intend it to be on the glass?
So the Kool-Aid itself is not him, basically.
The glass is him.
The glass is him. That's what
he's but he's the Kool-Aid guy.
He's full of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But he's not Kool-Aid.
Okay.
He's sponsored by Kool-Aid.
You know how we're 70% water? He's 70% Kool-Aid. It's fun.
There you go.
There's just so many rate your physiques in here. We're gonna have to start doing separate episodes of just rate your physiques.
How long would they be?
Those ones.
We've done a couple of those, like they're an hour. Favorite swear words and favorite swear word combos.
I like some of the British ones, like I don't know, like prick. Like when you call someone a prick, I think that's nice.
Prick?
Yeah, you're still being a fucking prick.
Fucking prick. That's a combo.
Yeah, it sounds good.
So you like the combo of fucking prick, or do
yeah,
you
like if someone says something stupid, you go, "Why are you being a fucking prick?"
Yeah, I like little prick is so insulting to someone.
Obviously, because prick is a dick, isn't it? So yeah, so you could say yeah. What do you like, Fouad?
I was just thinking of that.
I like daft cunt.
Daft cunt.
I don't want to
Sounds
say
like Daft
because,
Punk, the band.
Yeah, I don't want to say now because the British ones are so much better.
They are. They really are.
Like combo, I would say fucking cunt.
I don't know why now I'm thinking of smelly hoe. It's nothing. It's not even smelly hoe. Just seems like something good to say. Something
tosser is an easy one to just
tosser.
Yeah,
but then you'd say effing tosser again, wouldn't you? It's always for effing.
Yeah. You amp it up.
Yeah, you use that as you propel the power of the following word with that emphasis from that.
I got one for you. Do you think that being a robot in bodybuilding does have its place, meaning that the guys that are very regimented and strict end up doing the best? Alternatively, how do you defend against that so that you don't lose everything by being a robot during the pursuit? Love the podcast, boys. I have a very...
It's a bit of both.
I have a very strong opinion about this one.
You like the robot, don't you?
It depends what, because he's kind of putting two things together there. He's kind of talking about balance, but also talking about regimen, and those two things aren't necessarily connected. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is part of that sounded like he was talking about balance. And I think if you want to get to where James is or anywhere at that level, I don't believe in having a lot of balance. Yeah,
you have disbalance to get here for sure. I if I speak about my history, my history is very disbalanced. I got to a position I'm in through sheer. I chopped off everything that wasn't this.
So I do agree. And that's what I was trying to discuss last week when Guy was on. Is people see you now and they're like, "Oh, look at all the balance that James has. You can have all that. You can rollerblade and you can do this and you can do that." I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, he had to go through a period of fucking hell to get to the freedom that he's living now.
And a lot of the freedoms obviously come from a financial standpoint. If you can be in a position from bodybuilding that allows you to have an income, that means that you then have time, because you won't have time when you're trying to become a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah, go ahead.
You'll be working a job, you'll be training around work, and you'll be doing cardio when you're not working or training. Yeah,
we're packing your meals and shit. Yeah,
bang.
Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
So over the last year, and I don't want to make this like me just talking about Hunter, I've never witnessed a bodybuilder at that level be able to turn it on in the gym. And then when he walks out of the gym, outside of his meals, the guy doesn't sit down, he's not watching anything on bodybuilding. He's not on Instagram in the comments. He's off going shopping, taking his daughter to, he does everything else but bodybuild when he's not in the gym, except for get his meals in. And I think part of his success is because he's able to balance that out.
Yeah.
But it gives me incredible anxiety because I'm like, fuck, man, sit down. Like,
I mean,
like
look,
last year's Olympia, on the day before, he went for a 3-hour walk around the mall, shopping mall, just having a look. And I'm like, what are you doing?
When I think of success and what it means to be the best, I think of Dorian Yates. I think of Ronnie Coleman. I think these guys fucking lived it, breathed it. Like it was their entire life. And I think if we're going to, and I want to get back into the balance argument.
When we're talking about winning Mr. Olympias.
Well, that's what I mean. If you want to be the best, right? If you want to be the best, because there's a trade-off. Like there's certain people, there was a point in my career where I did this. I was like, look, do I want to spend every waking moment doing everything possible to maybe get one placing better? Or do I want to live my life a little bit and be a good bodybuilder? Yeah. And I chose to live my life a little bit. So like everybody has.
That's me now.
Yeah. It's like, but I'm sure at some point, James, you're going to decide. You're like, okay, well, I can keep inline skating and doing this and doing that, or I can shut it all down again and try and go up five more places. Like
for me, I think like,
I guess the question he's asking is, can you get to where you are now, James, if you're not a robot?
I don't think I could have. That's all I can answer, because I can't answer for anyone else. But I couldn't have got here without being Mr. Regimented, sacking off everything that wasn't bodybuilding, pissing off all my friends by not turning up to occasions.
Yeah,
you know, breaking relationships because I was like, you know what, bodybuilding needs more.
Yeah,
every relationship I had was destroyed because I chose bodybuilding over them.
The other thing, people, when I say your life can't be balanced, they take it as that means you can't leave them. No, but they take it that way too. But they also take it as, oh, that means I can't leave the house. And if I leave the house, that means I'm balanced. I'm like, no, you're still not balanced. Your entire life revolves around eating every 2 hours and going to the gym and getting your cardio in. And when you're not doing those things, you're probably thinking about them. So even if you're at the mall, like Hunter is,
you're still thinking about it. Yeah.
He's still like, I got to get a meal in an hour. Like that's not real balance. Like real balance is like
letting go.
The way I'm living now. Real balance is the way I'm living now. I go fucking ride my bike for 3 hours. I miss a meal.
Spontaneity, being able to wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm going to get a fucking plane to wherever without thinking about what meals I've got to eat.
Like to me, that's balance. Is like I can, you know what?
But I think
today I don't feel like training.
Okay, so that aside, right? I think you can do all of the above if you take your meals with you.
Agree.
Yeah, and but I think to become comfortable doing that.
Go on.
Yeah, I think to become comfortable with doing that, you have to have that experience behind you of those previous efforts. It's weird.
Yeah, it's almost like people go, like if you say to them, hey, you can go off, like you train, say first thing in the morning, right? You train from 9 till 10. From 10, you're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
A lot of bodybuilders go, yeah, but I'm gonna stay indoors, right?
Yeah.
But if as long as you have those meals with you, what's the difference between you being outdoors and playing with your kids or going to see your family or seeing your friends, going to the cinema, going bowling? Stop, eat Tupperware, carry on. And I think that's where Ian, for instance, has it fucking licked. I've never seen anybody just seamlessly move through whatever he had going on in his schedule with Tupperware and just operate. And that's the difference.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't disagree with that. If you've gotten to a point where your experience is so good that you can live your life and have your meals next to you at all times. John used to say that to me too. John used to say to me, there's no difference between dieting and off season. You're just eating a little less. Just why?
A lot of it is
because a lot of people, because John used to say to me, why do you do this thing? Like when you start prep, like all of a sudden your mind is turned on.
Intense.
And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it just feels like I've started the race and I got 12 or 14 weeks, whatever. And he goes, listen, he goes, we're doing the same shit we did all year round.
Yeah.
We're just going to eat a little less and that's it.
Don't overthink it.
I just could never do that. And you guys,
I'm the same though. I struggle. That's why I force myself to include these things that are like activities to then make it easier to switch off. Like, because I'm already interlocked with other things going on. Yeah. If I was I couldn't sit here and keep that mindset.
Yeah, that's the difference, right? Because I think, James, if you take yourself from say 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even, you were okay to write off that time in your life, right? Yeah. Whereas now you're like, look, I'm not prepared to write off that time. Right. So I either need to make it happen whilst I'm
or don't do it at all.
This or don't do it, right?
And I'm literally at that. I'm like, now I'm like, I refuse to let years or time pass without being in it and enjoying myself.
Yeah.
Because it's mortality. It's like, it's just when you're more, because of a lot of things that we've seen over the last few years, you just come to realize that shit ain't forever. So again, I can't commit so much to something that I don't see my life passing by me and then tomorrow I could be gone. I have to be like able to wake up in the morning and smile and enjoy doing this. And the bodybuilding has to coexist with living.
Yeah.
It's tough though. I'm with you boys. I get it.
How old are you, James?
33.
33. It's good that you found that now, because I didn't get it. I didn't get it till I was 37.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I never went back to competing, because I was too like on the fence about living my life, and I couldn't balance it.
Yeah, because you couldn't feel like you could compete if you're not fully.
I could never find that balance, and
that's why these last show. That's why the Arnold was such a big thing for me, because I'm not making this about me, but it was a big thing for me because it was the first time in my life where I've changed my shift. I've shifted my mindset. Yeah. And I knew that it was either going to really work or not. Remember I said, guys, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. I'm either going to come in there and it's going to go kaplunk, or I'm going to come in there, it's going to be great because I've made a habit change.
But the fact that you're able to do that experiment is huge, because I was way too scared when I was your age and competing to be like, oh, I'm just going to fucking try this, see what happens. Nope. I was like, no, this is the way it has to be. Yeah. This is the way I'm going to do it until I'm done competing.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
why
made it a lot easier for me.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it's a huge feather in your cap, because if I could have enjoyed my life a little bit while
could have done a bit more, like you say.
Yeah, I wouldn't have missed.
I'm going to this Olympia, and I'm like, so I don't even feel like I'm going to an Olympia.
Be careful. You said that last year.
No. Before I was really intense. Remember, I was like, yeah, I'm going to fucking beat everybody.
Oh no, what show was it you said that at? No, it was the Olympia. There was
I was very intense last year. I remember some of the conversations.
Yeah, you remember that podcast was terrifying. Was it?
Yeah,
before the
that podcast was terrifying.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking do damage, and then I come 12. Still got a little check though. They still paid me a little bit for that, 12.
Okay, this one's kind of annoying, so I want to read it.
Cool.
Sorry, Matthias, it's not annoying. It should be obvious. Tore my quad off the bone in February this year, and still can't train them, only rehab. Your opinion on doing a men's physique prep or wait another year to do classic as planned? I think this is obvious, but I'm going to let you guys answer first.
We can either be really nice in here and supportive, or we can be ourselves.
No, they're both supportive. My answer is supportive. What's your answer? Tell me.
Yours is the arsehole answer. It's like
it's the honest. It's the honest answer.
It's like, why are you going to be a pussy and do fucking thingy?
It's not why is it an asshole, to be honest?
It's not. It's not an arsehole, but I mean, they say it's the arsehole, don't they?
I think if you don't want to do, if you don't want to do men's physique, look, man.
And we're not ripping men's physique.
No, this isn't about men's physique.
It's about what he said and his own.
So what I was going to say is, if your fucking passion is to do one thing, then why do you want to do another?
Yeah.
Like, is your passion just to get on stage, just say I got on stage? Or is your passion to do classic? If your passion is to do classic, then men's physique is not going to suffice. It's going to be like, well, I just did this thing just for the fucking sake of it.
Yeah, it's true.
And if your passion is to do classic, then just fucking wait and do classic.
I agree.
So like, there's three different options there. It's like, is your passion just to be on stage because you want to tell everybody I went on stage?
Yeah.
Is your passion to do men's physique, or is your passion to do classic?
Sometimes it's okay to take the long road.
Yeah, 100%. That's the main thing I see wrong with people now, because they just,
No one wants to take the long road.
you know why, James?
Yeah.
I think part of the culture, and I don't want to say the whole culture, I think part of the culture has devolved into, I want to make sure I can make content, and when I'm competing, I can make content, and I'm more important right now because I'm actually doing something and I'm going to get on stage. So I feel like more people are competing just to compete rather than to actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Sounds
plan,
like,
there's no strategy. Like I'm going to take this year, I'm going to put on this much size, then I'm going to do this show, then I'm going to take another year, put on this much size, then I'm going to do the nationals, get my pro card, then I'm taking another year. Like it doesn't seem like there's a strategy. It's just like I'm going to do all the shows.
Does that not contradict your regret about not doing the Olympias that you did qualify for, though?
Well, no, that's a totally different level. What do you mean? Explain how you mean that. How is that?
You said you said that you wish you'd done them.
Yes.
Whereas at the time you were skipping them because you felt like you weren't ready to present a physique that you wanted to present.
Yes. So how is that a contradiction? You're saying I should have done them anyway?
You're saying people aren't giving themselves the time, but then in retrospect, you're saying you wish you'd done the Olympias.
Yeah, but I didn't actually listen to my advice. But also that's different.
Yeah,
that's the Olympia. You don't
that's what I mean.
You don't get a feather in your cap for doing the fucking Arkansas regional. Like
Arkansas.
I don't know why I picked that.
Mr. Arkansas.
I'm just saying, like, it's the fucking Olympia, right? So even if
why is Arkansas?
I don't know why I picked Arkansas. Leave me the fuck alone.
Thing is, even if you turn up Olympia, that's a big deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if
you get the jacket, bro.
It's just saying I did.
Think how many jackets you didn't get. Think how many fucking jackets. That's the best bit. It's the best bit. The fucking
closet would have had multiple jackets by now.
Okay.
You should have emailed them and said, I'm going to skip this year, but can I have the jacket, please?
Let me rephrase. I'm going to rephrase my commentary. Everything I said goes except for the Olympia. If you qualify for the Olympia, go anyway.
Okay.
That
makes sense. Okay, you've cleared that up.
I don't know. Do you guys agree with me or not? Do you guys have a different?
Yeah, I think Olympia, even if you turn up and you're not in shape, but you get there and you get your jacket and you get your medallion and go home. Nice.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, are you in agreement for this guy, or should he go do physique?
No. His passion, if he's like you say, if his passion lies in classic, then just progress towards that and take your time.
What's going on, guys? I want to talk to you about the newest company I'm working with, and as you can see, I'm chewing a big wad of gum because it is Bashmouth energizing gum. Athletes, gamers, especially everyday life. You just need some energy. It's 130 milligrams of caffeine here. Bashmouth.com is the website. I'll show you real quick. If you get there now, you get free shipping for a limited time. Get yourself a box today. And don't worry from now on. If you need some energy, just pop a piece of gum and it will keep you going all day. This girl asks, what's the best place to get breakfast? But it's like, I don't know. There's
First watch if you're in Florida or that side of town.
Texas. It's in Texas too.
Paul's Diner. Paul's Diner in Windsor.
All right. We've got a couple of suggestions, sir. It's good.
Ben?
I mean, that's very specific, Fouad. She better be in fucking Windsor.
Well, she's asking for fucking breakfast places. There's not a universal one.
She probably wants to change. She's probably thinking.
All right, I'm going to say in that case, I'm going to say spilt milk with James and Luke as myself as your.
It costs you on our street. Get on the fucking plane. Get yourself over here.
I don't understand the question then, because it's like there's no universal fucking breakfast place.
Well, there is, because we just said one. First watch.
Okay. I've never even heard of First Watch.
IHOP, Denny's.
IHOP is awesome.
Well, you do need to
don't go to Denny's. No more Denny's.
Don't go to Denny's.
Fuck
not in
Denny's.
America. You can go to Denny's in Canada. Don't go to Denny's.
Denny's booted me out.
Why?
Why?
Because I was sitting and eating, and I'm like, oh well, you know, this doesn't make me money if you're sitting at this table for too long. The woman booted me out. Literally, the owner.
Well, how long were you sitting there for?
Not even that long. I was like, you rude bitch. She literally just wanted me out. So
were you eating like a Sunday morning, or were you eating their food?
I was eating their food.
Oh, was it a Sunday morning or something? Really? Is it really busy?
Do you know? I know what it was. It's because I ordered a lot of food and I ordered quite a lot of takeaway, and then I sat down. But I was eating their food, man. Like, come on. That is a piss take.
Yeah, I don't know.
She was really rude.
What was your first pre-workout you ever took and what age?
Mine was probably NO Explode.
Yes.
Man, that sounds I feel so old that you said that. I was Zenadrine. It was
made that?
a fat burning pill. I think Muscle Tech was the parent company, and it was like a fat burning pill, and I would take it for energy before I trained. I was like 19 years old.
What else did they do? They did
Strong black coffee.
Hydroxycut.
Yeah.
Strong black coffee and a line of Coke.
I snorted a Hydroxycut like a line of Coke once. That wasn't very smart.
I've heard stories of Olympian, like back in the 90s, doing a line of Coke before they train.
Yeah, that would just make me anxious.
The old the old Venice Beach days. I heard a lot.
I'd be like, what a waste of fucking money. Like, what the fuck would I? Yeah. What were you gonna say, James?
I just couldn't do it. And I said I couldn't do it.
Says the guy that goes to Starbucks every fucking day. What a waste of money.
Me?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost. It's not the same cost as a line of Coke.
The amount you go is getting close.
You go quite a lot. Let's be honest.
I go every day. It's my fucking look.
It's your thing.
Listen, most guys have a fucking beer after work. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's my vice, coffee.
We've said this before. We've said like everyone has their vice. At least our vice isn't harming nobody.
Yeah, like I'm not. Some guys go to the bar on the weekend. They blow $500. I don't go nowhere.
Well, you go to Starbucks.
I think I'm going to take my wife to Egypt.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to see the pyramids.
Fancy that, yeah?
I don't know. I don't necessarily fancy that particularly, but I don't know why I use the word fancy, but
because I use the word fancy.
So I don't know if it's changed anymore, but when I was in Egypt back in 2016, the pyramids were like so far away from all of resorts and
really
everything else. It's like a 6-hour drive. You have to get up in the morning at like 7 in the morning, sit on a bus, get all the way out there. It was a long. I was in Cairo, so I don't know whether there's closer places.
Well, I found a Nile cruise where they like take you to all like the main destination spots.
Okay.
So I thought maybe that. It's our 10-year anniversary. I'm
not against any travel. I think you should just go places and see them.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. That's why I said I'm not necessarily like dying to see the pyramids, but I just want to see everything.
It'd be cool, and you'll fit right in. You'll fit right in Egypt.
Some won't. Some. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, they all got white wives.
Exactly. It'd be fun.
No, with blonde. Yeah, but blonde hair, don't they? Isn't it?
She'll have a headscarf on. They won't even see it.
They won't even know.
I was gonna say, they tend to favor like white women with blonde hair. It's like a very like they like.
It's a very Arab thing. Yeah.
They'll love you then. They'll be like, he's won.
They'll hate him. No, they'll hate him. They'll be like, fucking get him out.
Realize I've been married for 10 fucking years.
It's a long time, man.
We've been together for 16 fucking years. How long? That's so fucking long.
That's nearly half my life.
That's my entire adult life, pretty much.
Still going strong, lad.
Yeah. Will James be returning as Kratos next weekend?
I will be.
When's Comicon?
What's next weekend?
Next weekend.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
You want to come on the podcast? Dressed up?
I could do. Yeah, I could do actually. That'd be quite cool. It's on Saturday though.
We should all dress up.
Halloween, isn't it, as well? So you could. Halloween special.
So when's the Comicon?
Comicon's during the day, Saturday. So I'll be back. I can be back at this time, like normal.
So do you want to do it on Saturday?
I'm up for that. I might be maybe half hour behind, but I can keep you posted. Depends how mobbed it is.
Ben?
You two are not going to dress up though.
You'd be a good pirate.
I thought I dress up. I dress like that most days.
That's just what he is. He is a pirate. It's not dressing up.
I need to actually figure out a Halloween costume because I want to do something good for Phoenix. Because last year was a bit too young.
Well, what day is Halloween? 28th or 29th?
30th or 31st.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was the last weekend of October.
I don't know when.
Yeah. They'll do trick and treating on the Friday night, I'm assuming.
No.
That's why I think Saturday is a good day.
Not here.
I don't know. I'm pretending like I fucking know. In England, we don't.
I'm pretending as well.
The 31st is the day all the kids go out. Now, is there bars and shit that do special shit on the weekends? Probably.
Where you are, yeah.
The 31st is the day like the kids go out for Halloween.
Well, our special will be on the 29th.
What am I going to dress up as? Don't say anything, James. I know it's going to be something. It's going to be something rude. It's going to be something rude.
Why don't you guys the guy from Warhammer?
Who's that?
It's a big guy. From the film.
I'm not big anymore.
Yeah,
you
but
mean with the orcs and stuff?
Yeah, he looks like the fucking
Warcraft.
You put those two
Warcraft.
If you put those fang, look it up. You look like that fella from
Warcraft.
Warcraft, even. I've seen difference.
Yeah, Warhammer's Warhammer 40,000, like the Space Marines.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
they're cool though. They look very cool.
Put it on. I don't get him offended by this. You probably can get offended.
You motherfucker.
He does look like no. You would if with makeup. I'm not saying you look like him, but I'm saying if you put fucking look.
What do you mean? Yeah, look.
Put the fucking fangs in. Put the fucking fangs in.
This guy's actually really badass.
I think you should go as Goro from Mortal Kombat with 4 arms.
I think when Brandon from Bodybuilding Bullocks made the caricature of Luke, he used this character.
I'm trying to remember. Maybe
yeah. It was way back. I remember it. Who did you say?
Goro, Mortal Kombat. That's who I like.
Oh, he's cool. Okay.
Yeah, Goro looks sick. You would be a good Goro. Not that that's the prosthetic head from the film.
It's very close to the last one with the.
They're similar.
Okay.
Goro's sick.
Or you could do Thanos. Yeah, you could do Thanos pretty well.
I think Thanos I could do.
Thanos is badass, to be fair.
Yeah, you could do a good Thanos.
I could do a good Thanos. Let me see. I have to shrink my nose.
And you have to dye you have to paint your face purple and your beard purple.
Put lines in
it's
your
not
beard.
purple. Is it purple?
He's purple.
Definitely purple. It's 100% purple.
That's a purple man.
But it's not even up for debate.
If ever I saw a man purple, that's purple.
That's not.
I realize it's really funny having you two on together because you're very like British. Tag team. You're very tag teamy when there's nobody else on.
That's why I said you asked the other day about you were like, oh, I think I can only get 3. And I'm like, that was perfect because the other day, not to be offensive to
Just leave it.
I was having a good thing. And then it turned into bro chat, right?
Well, if you remember, Ben, I used to say that I would never do 4 people.
Yes,
because I always felt like it was me and Luke at first, and we used to have good conversation.
Yeah, then get a little.
And then we started adding a third, right? James would come on sometimes. You came on a couple times, and 3 was good. We were having like a good banter. And we did 4 one time, and I was like, "This is too much. I'm never doing 4." And then now 4 is the regular thing. But I think you could
4
actually
overwhelms me sometimes.
No, I know it does me too. Sometimes it gets like really carried away, but 3 is good because you have good conversation.
You have conversation. Yeah, you actually have conversation.
Yeah. When did bodybuilding become not fun for you?
It's still fun.
I don't think it'll ever be not fun, but it depends.
You change how you approach it, don't you?
It depends what you're categorizing as bodybuilding. Like,
yeah,
if you mean fully living the bodybuilding lifestyle like I did when I was 30, when I couldn't compete anymore, then that became not fun because I didn't want to suffer the way I was suffering if I wasn't going to get on stage.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about just lifting like a bodybuilder and eating, 4 or 5 meals a day, like I'll love that forever.
Absolutely. I'm on with that.
Go ahead. No, sorry. No,
I said, and like, you don't fall out of love because you adjust. So like, we were talking about in the previous conversation, how mindset changes. That mindset shift is to keep the love. Yeah. So that you don't lose the love.
Yeah. I'm going through the adjustment. Like I remember,
I think we both are kind of, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I've really found solace in being all in.
Yeah.
Like it made so much sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't, like it was, I would wake up and I just knew what I was doing. Everything made sense. I didn't, whether I was off season prep or even taking a break, I just fucking knew and it made sense. I knew what I was going to be doing for the next 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
So getting under the bar and killing myself made sense to me.
Yeah.
Since that competitive stage has gone away, I've found myself a little bit in limbo with it. Sometimes I'm switched on, and other times I'm like, if I can't do it full force, I kind of lose the.
So I think we all have that. Like black and white mentality, right? Where it's like all or nothing. So we all. I think that's where me and you both struggle. One of the things Evan said to me, I found this actually very, very helpful because I've been all over the place with my diet because I'm like, oh, well, if there's no stage, then what the fuck, I'll do whatever I want. And Evan was like, because I know Evan still follows a pretty regimented diet, and so does Chris Tuttle, even though they're not bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And they both echoed the same sentiment, which was part of the reason they still do it is so they have purpose and like a more normal life.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I'm like, Because one of the things that leaves me in limbo is not knowing, like you said, Ben. Like,
Sorry.
it's okay. Is not knowing like when you wake up, like I got to have this meal and I got to do this and I got to do that. We used to have that regimen, right? Because we knew.
Man.
So I think what Evan and Chris were saying is like you can still keep that regimen, even if you're not getting on stage.
It's true. It's actually very true.
And he said that they kind of, I think at the time they were echoing like that's what keeps them sane is just having that regimen.
Yeah.
So
because nothing, it's like, especially with eating, for some reason when you are free reign with food, it doesn't make you feel good.
No.
Not fully free reign. You like to still have this reward mentality, work for reward. And I think we're all like that because of our history with what we do. Yeah. So that's something I don't think you can ever turn off. And I think that's why it's sensible to still have that approach in some format.
Yeah, it's true. Because sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Well, I was going to say for me, sorry, fuck it.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
Just go in, bro.
For me, like you're sat there with that motto on your t-shirt, right? Sacrifice without regret. Well, when I was competing, it didn't feel like any sacrifice at all ever. It just was what I was doing. Yeah. Now, if I do it, if I stick to a plan, I feel like I'm sacrificing things, you know.
More aware of that.
It always felt like a sacrifice to me. It didn't mean that doesn't mean I didn't love it, but it still felt I still knew mentally I was leaving a lot of shit behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like no, I didn't ever register like I shouldn't, like I'm giving up X, Y, Z for this.
Oh, I knew I was giving up better jobs potentially. I knew I was giving up relationships. I knew I was probably losing friends, but I didn't give a fuck. I was like, so I knew the sacrifices that were happening. I think what James said is valuable in that because I was doing the Uber Eats thing like fucking every other night. And I'm like, this doesn't even like taste good anymore. It's just it's just, I'm just fat. Like this is just stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like, it almost like James is right. And that's also kind of, I think what Evan and Chris were trying to say is like, if you keep that regimen, you can just feel better. And then when you do eat something shitty, that even feels better. So it's like,
yeah, actually, you know what? It's funny. We went it was Phoenix's birthday last week, and we were out. We went to Cane's, right? It's like fried chicken.
Yeah.
I remember being in a prep, and I got a meal off, and I had that, right? And I was like, "Fucking tasted like crap."
Awesome.
It was the best thing.
Yeah.
I sat there the other day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, like I haven't had this in a while." I ate it, and I'm like, I was like, "Does this taste different? Like it tastes like." I was like, it's really average, actually. Like, it really doesn't taste. Oh, it tasted like shit to me. And I'm like, I got halfway through it. I'm like, I'm good. I'll wait till we get home. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like the stomach pain wasn't worth the food, right? Whereas a year ago when I was dieting, it was so worth it. I was like, fuck it.
I hear that.
At what point did you? So actually, I just wanted to put a point on that question. I don't know what the answer is because I don't know what that person defines as bodybuilding. If you're defining bodybuilding as just lifting weights, I'm going to do that for the rest of my life, and it's always fun. If you're defining bodybuilding as like full blown 6 meals a day, fucking suffering, dieting, I'm probably not. That started to feel like work after the last Arnold because my body didn't look the way I wanted to look anymore. So I was like, fuck, now I'm just doing this.
It's when you're fighting against, it's when you're going against, against the wave. When your body starts to, you no longer respond how you used to, then you're on an uphill climb.
Yeah.
And then that's not fun because you're like, okay, well, I can keep climbing, but I'm not going to reach the top because when I stop walking, I'm going to slide down.
Yeah. And that's kind of like when you say like someone's over the hill or past their prime or whatever, and you're like, you have to register that. And then you're like, okay, is this a job now, or am I still really enjoying this? Yeah. And so even though I enjoy it on a personal level, on an actual bodybuilding as a career level, you're not enjoying it anymore because you're not, like Ben said, you're also not, you don't have that progression.
The nice thing about that is that it just, the end of your career as a bodybuilder doesn't mean the end of your passion and love for training, which is a nice thing to highlight because some people might, who are on the outside, wonder, but what, once you get sick of being on stage, then you're no longer going to want to be in a gym. Not true. You're always going to want to be in a gym. So it's good that we've kind of discussed that as well.
Dude, sorry, go ahead, man. I keep cutting
Oh,
you off.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say my yeah, no, it's so fucking rude, man.
But I let you go every time. I'm sorry.
I know. Right? No, this is where I had my issue. We've discussed this with different training styles.
Yeah.
I was very logbooky based. And when I retired and then came like that, I've had to forget a logbook. Because for me, the way my brain was hardwired, it was like always driven for progression.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I was a little more fluid with my logbook. I knew where I should be roughly.
Yeah.
I wasn't so like fucking writing everything down. Like a hunter's very like this, right?
Like 1 pound.
I was
a time,
a little. Yeah. I would play with it here and there, and I would let some things go, and I'd change the order around. But it was always, the pattern was always trending upwards, right?
Yeah.
And then downsizing, coming off everything, this and that. I'm like, fuck, if I can't progress in the gym, like I've lost so I had to reinvent my training a little bit more and just start feeling it again. I think that's
it's got to be about feel now.
Yeah. And that's taking some time to get used to again, because
that might be
beforehand.
That might be why I'm having a little bit easier time than you, because
progression.
My training was always based on feel and pump and like, you know, that kind of stuff.
I think it's tremendously like one of the main reasons I'm having a hard time.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. If your entire life has been revolved around, I got to gain an extra pound on this lift, and then all of a sudden you take that away, that becomes
you essentially, like you said, you got to rewire your thought pattern process into how you train, because that was always the main focus.
Yeah, and I would thrive. Like, even if I didn't feel good, even if it didn't make sense. Like, I remember I broke up with a girlfriend one time, and I'm like, it was Mondays, and Luke and I always used to do legs on a Monday, and I'm like, fuck, I was in the worst mood ever, and I squatted and I PB'd.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck that girl. I don't give two shits about anything anymore. My head was like, all the anxiety and stress just fucked off, and it wasn't because I got a good session, a good pump, or what. I fucking hit 6 plates for 8 reps, and I was like, fucking done.
Yeah. There's a lot of good questions today for some reason. At what point did you feel your career took off, and what attributed to that? Either during bodybuilding or post.
What's your answer for that then, Fouad?
I never felt like my career took off. My career was such a slow. Actually, I would probably say the most hype or buzz or potential conversation I got was after the 2011 Flex Pro.
Yeah.
Because after working with Hani for a couple of years, and we took that previous year off, I actually gained a significant amount of muscle.
Yeah.
When I stepped on stage at a Flex and I beat Dennis Wolf, I had like a lot of buzz behind me, but I never capitalized on it properly. It's weird. I don't believe in the overnight success shit. I don't think I ever had like a day where I was like, I finally fucking made it. Like it was just a constant slug to get a little bit better each year.
But I think that's because where we're coming from a genetic standpoint as well in bodybuilding. We're not like Phil Heath, who just turned up at his first show and everyone's speaking about him like he is going to be Mr. Olympia.
Dude, James.
Because your success is created by other people's voice.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Whereas people like you, me, Ben, our progress was perhaps slower.
Yeah.
So therefore you don't
I see that overnight. No, because I think, like, I never thought I was meant to do this. So I had a friend coming up who was like, honestly, everybody says this, but I'm telling you, this kid was fucking genetic marvel at 19. I was like, holy fuck. And then I started training, and it took me like 7 years to get the same size he was at 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, now I understand what genetics are.
Yeah.
So you're right. I never had the kind of genetics that people would see you and you'd be like, whoa, who's that guy? Like, that's not. So I never had like an overnight, like, oh, now I made it. It was like a little bit at a time.
I feel like the current culture with Instagram, social media, etc., we see a lot more of these genetic phenoms, and they're much more normal to people now, or expected.
Name one though.
To people.
Name one though.
Nick Walker.
Yeah.
Hunter Labrada. Hunter's lost. The only shows he's never not won were the Olympias.
But wait a minute.
That's not normal.
No. But wait a second.
But I'm saying, like, look at Ronnie Coleman, right?
Yeah. If
you just ask the average bodybuilding fan right now about Ronnie Coleman's career, they only know the wins, right?
Yeah.
But the shows he did eating shit to get to that point, I feel like now where everything is just like this, we have such access to people that Nick Walker's now like the expectation. Like, oh, this guy, he's going to turn pro and should win over, like Andrew Jack, Crusoe. Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They're
Yeah,
just
no, I get it,
expectations, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like people are going, well, I've trained for a year and
I can do that.
I haven't grown that much. I haven't got much bigger. I did one cycle. It's not for me. I feel like there's this.
Oh, yes. It creates actually a little bit of it can work two ways, can't it? Like you say, it can put people off actually.
But wait a minute, you can actually still, okay, I agree with you to a certain degree, but Andrew's like 38 years old.
Yeah, but he only just like as soon as he started trying to compete and turn pro, it happened.
No, I know, but
so
I think
that's
that
what
person,
they see.
No,
Yeah.
I agree, but I think that person
He knows his story. Yeah.
But the person that says that, well,
I
actually, I'm making the Guy Cisternino argument. You're right. People only see the one thing. He's like, oh, well, he just started competing and he's a top Olympian right now. They don't realize he's been bodybuilding for 10 years and he just only started competing now.
Right.
Or whatever amount of time he's been training. But like same thing with Crizzo. Like people don't realize.
Oh, he's been around for donkeys, but
Crizzo's been around for a long time. Nobody knows that. You're right. Yeah.
It's that 10 year. I think it takes 10 years to figure out whether you've got something or not.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think that's what I was saying earlier is I never had a wow moment. And I think most bodybuilders, I don't want to say most, I don't know. I can name a handful of bodybuilders that have a wow moment where you see them and you're like, that guy, holy shit. Like Justin Compton went from like an okay bodybuilder.
He was like fifth at a show and then he came back and won a show.
Then all of a sudden he was like the greatest fucking thing ever. Like the next year, like he can say, if somebody asked him that question, he could say, 2010 or whatever it was, 2012, I made this dramatic jump and I became great. But I don't know how many people can say that. For most people, it's a slow, like even if you look at Ian, right? Like Ian's been competing for 10 years.
No, Ian went that 2020 season when he had that long off season. That was his breakout.
No, but Ian's
he took third at Tampa end of 2019. And then from there, he put work in. And the next time he stepped on stage, he made a much bigger impact. And now he was a front runner to win shows right off the bat. Same thing with James. James did the same thing.
But I don't know if I see that though, because Ian was like, from my recollection, he's placing like in the fifth area, third area. Then he started like, it was a slow progression. It wasn't like he was like 10th and then all of a sudden he was first. You know what I mean?
But he was always going to sit in that. Like I never expected him to go into that realm of, well, Ian's the favorite for these shows now. Which he went from 2019, like I said, I think he did Portugal and he did Tampa that year. And he was like good, but he wasn't like a main threat going into the show,
Yeah, I guess if you put it that way, I guess. Yeah, my career was more of a wave. I had a 2011.
I feel like James.
Yeah.
Sorry.
James did that 2 years ago.
Yeah, James was sitting around like fifth, sixth.
Third, fourth shows.
Yeah. I feel like this. I feel like now though, it's the actual real beginning.
You think more so than the previous two shows you won?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I know that the look I do now is more competitive on the Olympia stage.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
and that's the ultimate measure.
But I think the point at which
you.
Yeah.
Become a conversation at least. Yeah.
I think what Ben means is like the year that people are like, James is here.
Yeah, the year that you're no longer a number on stage.
Yeah.
You won that British Grand Prix.
Yeah, and
and then
I won a Europa.
Yeah, that like you did two back to back, right? I think at that point that was like the turning point where people started taking you seriously as a competitive pro bodybuilder.
So it says, what do you think attributed to your physique taking off? Mine would just be working with Hani and taking that year off and learning how to bodybuild better.
Yeah, it's just it's intuition and time.
Yeah. Chow talked about, this is a good question because I think some people were confused by this, Ben, so maybe we can break this down for them. Chow talked about refeeding to protect certain muscles. Could this tactic be potentially used for muscle gain or impossible due to the overall calorie surplus overall? Does that make sense?
So what was that question again? I'm interested as well.
So Ben talked about on a previous podcast, we were talking about cheat meals, and Ben said when he works with Hunter, he puts his cheat meals around his back training day because he wants to give him more calories on it.
You were on that one, John.
I was on that one, yeah.
So I think some people were confused by that conversation. So I think he's asking about that. It says Chow talked about refeeding to protect certain muscles. Could this tactic be potentially used for muscle gain or impossible due to overall calorie surplus?
Yeah, so if you're in a surplus all the time, does that even matter basically? Like,
No,
do you get more growth?
no.
Do you get more growth for one day having more calories, even though you're always in a surplus?
Oh, I thought they were talking about in a prep. Like,
No, now he's saying in the off-season setting.
Now I get it too. Yeah, I think he's saying what James said. It's like
so, like, let's say you have 5 days a week.
If you're already, if you're already eating,
eat more.
Yeah,
but you're already in a fucking yeah.
Like if your calorie intake's 4 and you're eating 5,000 calories a day every day anyway, then what the fuck does it mean?
What's 2 days of 6 on weaker body parts going to do?
Yeah,
it's marginal at that point.
So Ben, so are we all saying, like, Ben, you would say that tactic is only used when you're in a deficit, right?
Essentially,
not only used, but it has more relevance and application,
more effect.
But there's more of an impact to the physique when the calories are lesser throughout the week, and then
Well, I mean, even in an insulin sensitivity standpoint, because if you're in a deficit, then those calories are going to matter more so than if you're fucking in a surplus all the time. No,
I would say that there's no need to have a rotation of your days to compensate for a body part. I would have had more frequency on that body part while I'm in a surplus. Because the surplus is going to feed the recovery of that frequency. Yeah, but that's just me. Ben,
but I think somebody might ask to that, James, just to. I know what you guys are going to say, but just to further the point.
Yeah, of course.
I think somebody would say to that, let's say you're training legs on Monday and Thursday. That's the body part you want to bring up.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're in a surplus anyway, so I would just train legs more. The person's probably going to ask, well, would I increase my calories on those 2 leg days?
Shouldn't make it. Should I don't think it would make a difference if the surplus is prevalent throughout the entire cycle of training. But that's just me. Ben might have a totally different opinion on that.
I've done it. Here's
go ahead. Sorry. No, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
Well, I'm cutting you off now. So it depends. So if I'm bringing somebody up, I might already have their leg and back days higher anyway, and the rest of the days are playing catch up as we get deeper into the off season, right? That's typically what I might do with somebody, especially if they come out of show and we go, okay, let's add a bit more food on this one and this one, but we're going to keep the food, sensible while we transition out, right? And then as I bring things up, everything else, but these 2 days stay higher, and the end game is to arrive to a point where all days are full saturation.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay, so this is the only thing I used to fuck with on my off seasons was my off days were very heavy in food, like much higher in calories. So I always trained legs on a Monday because I wanted to prioritize my legs, and I always wanted to prioritize my back. So I trained Sunday and Thursday were my days off, and my calories were always highest on those days.
If you liked to feel recovered on those days, didn't you?
I like to always feel extremely full.
Yeah,
day after
going into your next ones.
So I like that when I have a bodybuilder with a certain amount of muscle mass to them.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about my smaller competitors and athletes, I don't want them eating that much food on their rest, or I don't want them eating a surplus on their rest.
Also, the one thing you could suggest, though, the reason that you might have a slight calorie adjustment on a day is that if the day that they're training something like legs, for example, is more calorific in expenditure.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to have a certain amount of surplus in relation to output per day, you could argue that. So let's say your output is 3,000 calories for the sake of it every day, pretty much because of the way you train. But on leg day, it seems to be 4,000. You might be under that, you might be the guy that's like, okay, we're going to give you an extra 1,000 calories on that day because I want to have that same surplus.
Yeah.
It depends how you break down. Yeah.
To your point, for the system that you applied, I do like it a lot, especially for the bigger guys, because it doesn't impede on their training as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys, if their appetite is in the floor after a big leg day. Some guys can't eat that big, etc. Or their training sessions just occupy too much time with everything going on. So there's more time on an off day to actually sit down and get the calories in, for instance. So there's different. It's individual based on what works for that person.
I always just felt like, you know, we carb load for a show, right?
Yeah.
We don't carb load the day of the show. We carb load before the show,
prior to the event. Same with athletes in other sports.
Yeah, we do that because it takes a certain amount of time for those carbs to fill into the muscle.
Yeah.
So I always had that same strategy when training. I was like, if I eat 600 grams of carbs on Sunday or 800 grams of carbs on Sunday, when I get into the gym Monday morning or Monday mid-afternoon or whatever, I'm going to be full as a fucking house and I'm going to get all the power I want out of my legs.
Yeah, I agree.
It's why Hunter has his refeed the day before the back again for the same principle, because when he's eating around the back session, it's barely sticking to it. Like there's no time for that for that glycogen stock being stored and it's not bedding into that muscle.
Yeah, I think prior day is absolutely the best way if you're going to do it.
Man, I had so this new guy came into the gym to start training. He works at the building. And he comes in and he's got a huge plate of food just before training. Yeah,
no.
So no. Aside from the fact that you need a certain time to digest, I said
no, but like,
I said, what are you doing? He's like, well, I have a big workout. I want to have a lot of food. And I'm like, look, man, the food you ate just now is not going to help this. It's not going to help this workout.
That's tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, like you gotta get it into the system and onto the muscle and reload. And so I always, that's what. I always felt like the day before was best for me.
You are what you ate yesterday.
Yeah. Anyway, always boiling hot or freezing cold? I don't know. I'm guessing your temperature.
Boiling hot. I'm always.
I'm a shifter, man. I go up and down.
What would you rather be?
Cold.
I think cold's better because it's nicer to wrap up than it is to try and stay cold. Like to try and cool down is a lot more horrible than. You know, let's wrap up, put 8 layers on. Nice.
They're saying freezing cold though, not just like throw a hoodie.
Yeah, but freezing cold can still be. You can still take yourself to normal.
Blanket, snuggles, hot water bottle. Yeah,
boiling hot's not very nice. You can't cool down.
I'm going to take boiling hot so I can ride my motorcycle. You know, if you asked me 10 years ago when I was big, I would say freezing cold.
Okay, what about at night? I'd rather be cold at
laying in bed and you're like,
I hate sweating.
Imagine. Yes, thank you. See,
remember those trend days.
I'd rather put a pair of long woolly socks on and wrap up.
Yeah. What's the hardest decision you've ever had to make in your life? That's so big. How do you fucking answer that?
That's just like, that's impossible, isn't it?
The hardest. I can't even think. I don't know.
Put out or leave it in.
Is this the one? Or is this not the one?
Well, I don't leave it in. Do you think it's worth it to spend the extra money to get an Airbnb with a kitchen for your competition weekend?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. Yes.
Well, Rob Taylor messaged me over there about that. Like, not because he's not an idiot at all. He's just saying, like, do you use the hotel at the Olympia? Yeah. I said, keep it to use because it's great to have a point of reference and a base if you need to go there. But do the whole kitchen, man. You need to have your shit, man.
You guys now are so lucky between Airbnbs and prep meals. It's like it's a fucking breeze for bodybuilders to travel now. Like fuck, I used to pack my meals, and if I didn't pack my meals, I would have to like set up my own kitchen at the hotel with a George Foreman grill and like
skillet and stuff.
I remember I used to bring a hot plate. There was like a hot plate that had a plug. I'd plug it in, and I'd bring like a frying pan and the whole thing cooked.
That's what Luke took to review, didn't he? When you did Arnold, skillet.
Yeah. It's like so. Yeah, definitely get a fucking Airbnb, man. Do it right.
Yeah, man. Comfort's best.
I remember we went to FIBO and we took an extra suitcase full of frozen like chicken. And
I
rice.
did that too.
Yeah, I remember Evan used to do that. Evan done a whole
video. I
got
that from Evan. I asked Evan once, and he's like, "Oh, just pick in a suitcase." So I packed. I remember I was traveling for SciTech, and I had a large suitcase full of vacuum sealed chicken, fish. I don't think I took the rice because I tried it once and it all fucking got mushy and shitty.
Yeah.
But it was all filled with chicken, fish, and fucking steak. And I took
all I'm going to say is that's when you know you're dedicated.
Who was it? It was you remember Fred Biggie Smalls, right?
Yeah.
I was with him. He was doing a UK tour, and he was sitting next to me, and he had a baggie or a Tupperware, and his fish He had white fish and it was still frozen, and he was just chewing it for like a fucking lot. Like,
Gotta get it in.
and just fucking chew. Yeah, he's like, it's not defrosted. Fuck it, I'm eating it.
You know, it's funny. Evan is the only one I've ever seen eat Tupperware fish that looked delicious.
It's because he just makes it look great.
No, seriously.
It's
James,
true. It's true.
I'm
No,
sitting behind
he
him.
puts a lemon in there, doesn't he? And everything.
Yeah. I can't remember what show we were at, but he had this like longer Tupperware, and I'm like sitting. I don't know if I was sitting like behind him or beside him, but I could see. And he opens the Tupperware, and I look, and it's like nice bed of white rice with like
seasoned, probably seasoned.
This nice fillet, and you could tell it had like parsley or something.
Yep.
And then it had like this lemon cut in half wedge sitting on.
Where he just goes squeeze on it.
And the fish just looked so fluffy. It wasn't like shitty bodybuilder fish.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Evan's that type of guy. You know, you hand your homework in at school and it's all rough, and then he hands his in. Like, oh, you fucking!
It's in a folder.
Ellen, yeah, you fucking tryhard prick.
Yeah, I used to like he actually made me want to eat fish. Like watching him eat fish.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Man, white fish looks good.
When I looked at his Tupperware, I was like, man, that fucking. I think I even said to him, like, that fucking looks good.
Always had glass Tupperware as well.
I think he did. I don't remember, but I think he did.
He doesn't like plastic. Well, he didn't used to. I think now he's given up.
When will Fouad be under 250 pounds? It's so funny. Somebody posted in the last podcast in the comment section. They posted Fouad said he's going to be 230, and then they posted the months and my weight for each month, and it was like 260, 258, 260, 254, 260. It just keeps going back.
Zigzagging.
I think I'll be.
You're recomping.
I'm recomping. That's right.
I'm gonna be hard. It's hard to let go of like not having like a nice juicy meal here and there. Like I say, rewarding yourself.
It's always there's too many occasions now. You know, when you're bodybuilding, there's no occasions.
Now you make the most of occasions.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're bodybuilding and it's your birthday, you're like, I don't give a fuck. I have a show in 3 weeks or whatever the fuck.
Now it's like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, now it's like, it's my birthday.
Everyone's birthday.
Yeah,
mate.
It's everything. Saturday night.
It makes you realize, doesn't it? Like, it just makes you realize all those years, like, wow, I just didn't pay attention to any occasions.
I got to be honest with you, James. At sometimes I get very disappointed in myself because I'm like, I look back and I think to myself, man, you had more discipline than 99% of the fucking population of the world.
Yeah.
And now you can't stop eating for a week.
Yeah, but I feel like you've fucking earned that, mate.
That's what I tell myself, but I think I think it's a cop out.
I don't think it is. I honestly think it's a reward for the years of commitment.
Yeah.
Do you know I was thinking about this the other day when Phoenix was born? It's like 5 days after my show, right? I took 18 meals to the hospital when I was walking around the car park.
I remember that. I remember that.
Eating meals.
I called you. I've got a screenshot with with you two on it.
Yeah.
And I was like walking up and down the corridors for my cardio to get to, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like now,
you know what?
Now I'm getting it. I'm going to the vending machine and getting a Yorkie bar, mate. I'm not fucking messing around.
That's the best, mate. That's life.
390s bodybuilders that you would have signed if Hostile was already around at that time.
That's an interesting question.
390s bodybuilders? Well, fuck. Who wouldn't want to have Kevin Levrone, Dorian Yates?
Oh, Dorian, mate. Absolutely.
And Ronnie Coleman. Yeah. Think about that. What the fuck? Is there anything better? I mean, I guess you could say Flex Wheeler, but I feel like Flex Wheeler wouldn't have done all the stuff I wanted him to do.
Yeah, I don't think he's like a hostile attitude.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, is Lavronia? Is Kevin?
Yeah, I think Kevin. Remember,
I think Kevin's a bit of a rogue. I think Kevin's a bit of a rogue.
He used to bench like 5 plates and shit. He was hardcore.
Yeah, but only for like 4 months a year. He wasn't fully.
Then he was off singing.
Yeah.
Would he fit the Hostile brand? You think?
No.
You don't think so?
Not year round.
So Dorian's
like the most like, you know, when you
Mike Francois,
and Dorian for sure.
Yeah, I like Mike Francois.
Mike Francois is the man.
Why don't they do an Olympia semifinals where anyone who makes the qualification? Because then you'd have to compete twice, and like
that's long.
It doesn't make sense. Let me read the whole question. You guys say, why don't they do an Olympia semifinals where anyone who makes the qualifications for the normal Olympia will have to compete at the semis if they want to qualify for the real O? Top 15 in the semi go to the real Olympia. These are spread out by a minimum of 5 months. Because how the fuck are you going to do that? Because then you got to qualify for the semi, then you got to do the semi, then you got to, it's like there's too many shows.
Questions on the structure of qualifications make me do this.
I tell you what might be interesting. Hey, I tell you what might be interesting. They do the Olympia on the Friday, the prejudge, and then on the Saturday, only the top 10 come back.
That's what I thought he meant originally when I read the question.
Is that not what they do anyway?
No, everyone comes back.
Do they?
Yeah.
They should do the semifinal, if there was a semifinal, Friday morning, and get it all, get to, now that there's 35 guys or whatever, narrow it down to 10, and then do the 10 at the finals or 15 at the finals.
Well, I think they should do Friday night and then Saturday night top 10.
I just wish it was all. I just like run through shows. I just like it when you go on stage.
Yeah.
And half an hour later, you're done.
Remember they did that during COVID? They were doing everything all at once.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I prefer. Do you know what? It's actually better.
Everyone go out for a meal after and chill and stuff.
From my perspective, that's better for the athlete as well. I've spoken on this before. 2-day shows. The idea of having to peak an athlete and dehydrate them for 2 days.
Like having to stay on fucking directs for like multiple days and shit and do stupid things. Yeah, long for that.
I did that. We did that with our show that we promote. We had the show all at once, and people loved it.
I love that.
Got there at like 2:00. They're done by like 4 or 5. You went to dinner and fucking all that.
You want an afternoon out.
Yeah.
You don't want a 2-day experience.
Well, because think of this too. Usually when you're done a show, it's like what, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Trying to find a restaurant to go to.
Me, Ben, and Luke after the British when I won. Fuck me, we struggled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I blame Yannicka for that.
Oh, yeah,
shouldn't eat half the places.
Yeah, it's fucking all work.
I reckon. And then when we found a place, they'd sold out of half the shit. Do you remember?
No, yeah, I remember that.
Because supers were on at the end.
Do you know what? I feel like they should just do expo on a Friday only. So you have an expo day, all day, and then Saturday expo up until bodybuilding, and then you just finish off the afternoon with a lovely bodybuilding experience, and everyone goes home.
Lovely bodybuilding.
Lovely
time.
Guys, I have to cut the podcast short because I have a call at 3, but I want to get one more question in.
That's fine.
Sorry, guys. Answer honestly, if one of the other bros on the podcast was getting mauled by a grizzly, would you stay and help him, or would you run away?
I would run away.
I'm asking. This actually happened in real life, like this past weekend, I guess.
If it's a grizzly, I wouldn't get involved. I'm sorry, unless I've got a gun.
So if a bear jumps on me, starts mauling me, you're just gonna run away?
What the fuck am I going to do to a full grown?
I'm going to see if I can get your wallet and keys first, and then
so you can find the car.
Duck and weave. And
I'm not saying. I'm not saying I wouldn't try to do something, but I certainly wouldn't run at it.
What would you do?
Yeah, I'm throwing rocks. All
right. So 1 second. So it's got my arm in its mouth, and it's crushing my forearm bone. And I'm screaming, James, help. What are you doing?
Well, I'll be like, well, at least it's not his head. So I've got a few minutes.
Okay. So then what?
I'll try and find a car and then run the fucking thing over. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm going to be dead by the time you get back to the car.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Most likely I drove because I'd like to drive everywhere.
So, yeah. So
the keys are in my pocket.
Fine.
Yeah. So you got another arm free. Throw me the keys.
Yeah. Shout.
Throw me the keys. Fouad, I'm over here. Fouad.
Because I'm not being funny.
Buddy, throw me the keys,
motherfucker.
Two humans are not doing anything to a grizzly bear.
I'm going to prove you wrong right now. So this guy was getting mauled by a grizzly bear. These guys are both wrestlers. This guy's getting mauled this guy's getting mauled by a grizzly bear. This guy jumps on its fucking back and saves him.
Well, let's be honest here. One thing, first and foremost, they're wrestlers. 2, it was probably a fucking baby cub.
No, it was a fucking look, let's read it. A pair of Northwest College wrestlers are lucky to be alive after tussling with a massive grizzly bear in the woods of Cody, Wyoming during a weekend hunting trip. The group of teammates had finished antler hunting and broken down into 2 groups heading towards their vehicles when wrestler Brady Rowley noticed bear feces in the trail. Blah, 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 blah. The bear then chomped down on Lowry's arm, breaking it immediately. His teammate Cummings then used his wrestling skills to attack the bear. He said that he kicked the bear, pulled its fur, and tried to distract it before he released Lowry and started chasing it.
None of those are wrestling skills. You can't kick or pull fur in wrestling. What the fuck you mean? Use these wrestling skills.
It tackled me, chewed me up a bit. Then when it was done, it wandered off, and I started calling out for Brady to make sure he was all right.
You know what I think happened?
wait,
Do you know what? Wait. They're wrestlers, yeah?
Yeah.
No one's got any footage.
Oh, they made it up. Look at his
He's
face.
wrestled. Yeah, look, he's wrestled him to make him look like that and then reported it.
There's another picture somewhere of this kid's fucking face.
He broke his arm because he knows how to.
There's another picture somewhere of this kid's fucking face all bloodied and shit.
Maybe he bit him.
No, he did. He's got like lacerations on his face.
No, I mean his friend.
So James, that's it. You guys are gonna run away. This guy, that bear crushed his arm.
All I can say,
you motherfuckers.
We don't know what would happen in the situation unless we're in the situation. Maybe the adrenaline would see us help him. Maybe. But it's a big maybe. It's a huge maybe.
I don't know if I can do it either, guys.
You wouldn't fucking run and help me if
I would definitely help you if a bear was
eating you. You say that, but you probably wouldn't.
James, I could not run away from a
friend.
You would
fear for your
screaming
own
life. I know, but you'd be screaming. Think about it. At the top of your lungs, help.
I would, but it's better than both of us screaming.
This is true.
Remember what your motto is: sacrifice without regret.
You know? I was gonna sacrifice James. I'm out of here,
without any regret, and just get the fuck out of there, bro. That would be the one time where you're like, "This is why I had this."
Yeah,
it's all for this moment. It's okay because that's the motto.
Fuck, I don't want to go. You guys are. I'm having fun today.
It's one of them things.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to take this call. So
that's fine, man. I'm gonna go and eat anyway.
Okay, let's get together next week.
It's good. We answered some questions. It's a question series.
Very bodybuilding-ish today. Go ahead, Ben.
I had fun.
No, I was.
Oh, signing off.
Oh, that's a signing off. All right.
Okay, gentlemen.
Pleasure.
See you next week.
Boys,
Bye,
see you soon. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.